out here working as usual, another Saturday full of work. We're working on our new front yard gardens, which we realized that we just never actually gave you a tour of. So I thought, since Farmer John is down there making some alterations to make our lives easier, that I would bring you out and give you a tour, since there's a lot of butterflies out here, and I wanted to show you what we planted, some ideas for you in case you're trying to work on your front garden in a way to renaturalize it, get rid of some of the needy fescue grass that really serves no purpose to the earth, and things that you can plant to attract pollinators that require very, very little water and maintenance, and just have your front yard come to life with butterflies and hummingbirds and so on. So we've been actually working on this for about 2 years. We had a delay, but now it's all finally coming together, and now major progress and things are happening. Still things that were going to change, things that we realized we didn't like. Some things were temporary because we didn't have the right materials, but now it's coming together and we're starting to feel really excited. We're very, very happy with it. So let's turn you around and go on a little tour. Now, one of the first things we started working on at least 2 years ago was we ripped out this whole entire area of lawn because it was a problem area. I would, cut it, and I had to go around the shapes of the trees, and the tree roots were causing grass dieback, grubs were causing grass dieback. So we went ahead and we cut in this walkway area, and then we kind of like abandoned the project because we just had so much going on. It was too late in the year, and it took us a long time to finish it. But now it's starting to become more filled in. We're using things like Artemisia and lamb's ear. I got those on sale at Lowe's this year, and I couldn't be happier with the addition of these beautiful silvery plants that really do spread nicely. I got these on sale for $3 each, and I thought they were incredible. They are so velvety soft, which is what, it literally feels like you're stroking feathers. It's incredible. And now these little flowers are starting to pop up and turn yellow. So these are a great ground cover option for places that are arid like this, and they're perennial. They should stick around fairly late into the season here in northwestern Burlington County, New Jersey, as well as the lamb's ear. So they may die back some once the weather changes really, really hard. But still, I know they're going to come back, and it's going to love this area, which continues to be improved. As I show you this, guys, this is not done yet, so it's not totally refined and totally pretty yet. It's still a work in progress. Now, this liriope was here when we moved in, and we just continued to divide the clumps and repurpose it. And then we had an epiphany. We realized this is a great border plant, and it's great because, again, it's xeriscaped. It'll sit in sun, it'll sit in shade, it'll sit in clay, it'll sit in dry, arid conditions. Liriope can be very, very aggressive. But when you use it to your benefit to sit in a place where you don't have to water it and you have ground cover, and it's helping you to eliminate needy grass, it really works as a great option. As well as creeping phlox. Now, we love the way this is coming down and creeping over the boulders. We're going to make some changes to these boulders, like the white marble pieces. These were all repurposed, but we're going to be adding some of the stacked stone that we built our wall with, as you'll see, in here to fit in combination with the boulders. So, again, all of these lines are going to go through changes. The ground covers are going to start to swallow the pea gravel, and we're going to be making shapes inside of here. This was a very economical way to improve this area. Right now, it's not weeded. It's very messy. This was a very, very spontaneous tour, you guys. Now, when we first moved in here, we had ash trees, and they were very, very sick. So within the first year, we had to cut them down. And Farmer John and I planted these maple trees, which actually have turned out to be some cultivar that I think the tags were wrong. They were supposed to be more columnar and have well maintained roots, but it turns out that they're growing very, very wide and very large very rapidly. So, we did have a sun garden out here for a few years, and now it's turning out to be not just a shade garden, but a very, very dense shade garden. And it's wonderful because, we get morning sun, and then we get, as the sun goes behind the house into the yard, we get some shade. And we just love the dappled light out here. We are using carpet juniper, blue rug juniper, to silage these areas naturally. When we took out the grass here, again, this grass didn't want to cooperate, so we went ahead and we're softening our corner with creeping phlox in multiple blooming colors, so in the springtime this is going to be magnificent. And the carpet juniper has spread very rapidly. If you're using carpet juniper as a ground cover, the first year it sleeps, the second year it creeps, and then the third year it leaps. And now it's in its third year and it is leaping. It will cover as densely as this area here, which is the same plants. So once we realized how thick this carpet juniper did, we decided to use it as a ground cover on this area, which is mainly just harassed by dogs and rude people who think it's okay to bring their dogs to someone else's house to, you know, to go, never mind. I'm going to take this tour down a different road, and I don't mean to do that. Let's talk about what we did here. If you're trying, dogs don't like this, deer don't like it, rabbits do not like it, so you can see how quickly it's spreading. So this is a great option if you're looking for ways to eliminate the grass and the opportunity for people to stop in front of your house. I'll rephrase it that way. Now these boulders have been here for several years. Like I said, we were slowly eliminating the grass, but just this March, Farmer John and I went ahead and we built this wall, which is something that I have been talking about this for years, you guys. So we had to work with the grade and the slope of the property. It was not really a beginner's chore, and it's not perfect. We wanted it this way. It's a colonial English wall, and it's meant to retain the soil so we could have a soft planting, again, setting a boundary, allowing a place for the pollinators, and people are walking by now, they're loving it. So all of these things I planted from seed, you'll see that this side is growing at a much slower pace because of the density of the trees. So once I get down to the other side where it's growing much better, I'm going to give you a better explanation of what it is that we're using. So this is starting to catch up though. So we eliminated all this lawn. Now the lawn is cut in half up here, and we're about to do the same thing on the other side, which I'll get into. So our main winter interest plants are going to be the Casino Gold Junipers that I bought earlier this year on a nursery visit, and I can attach that video for you. In the back you can see foxglove that I grew from seed, Canterbury bells, there's columbine over there, all grown from seed. These plants here are Sweet Alyssum, this is Oriental Nights, and this is Tiny Tim. Both are from Botanical Interest, as well as this beautiful salvia, which is Violet Queen. I grew from seed in the spring. I didn't know what to expect from it. Well, wait until you see what it looks like on the other side as we get over there. I have some lavender that I bought from Lowe's, which didn't do really well. When you compare it to the lavender I actually grew from seed quite easily. Now I'm going to do another video about the grassy less strip over here. We're not going to look at that right now because that's a topic I want to set on. But yeah, so this took many weekends of, you know, a few hours here and a few hours there. It was absolutely backbreaking for Farmer John. I can only help so much, but you can see this stone is absolutely beautiful. This took, between this side and the other side, which we'll get to, 3 pallets of stone. We started to make a video about all of this construction and we just never finished it because the video was overwhelming at the time. Over here I have some dichondra. This is Emerald Falls from Swallowtail Gardens, or Swallowtail Seeds, and I'm hoping that I can find this somewhere else. I'll be price shopping for that in the spring. Now over here we have some hyssop growing that will flower soon. It has a beautiful, lovely fragrance to it. And we will be making changes to this area in the spring. Again, we were retrofitting things just to get this in so we could cut back on the grass. Now, I really love the way creeping phlox looks over boulders. So we're trying to really complement, you know, the front of our yard by using stone and softening it all up, knowing that the carpet juniper and the phlox and the creeping jenny is going to eventually take this over. So we won't be looking at stone, you know, for too much longer. Now this project up here on the corner, again, imagine that half of the lawn over there is getting ready to go away. So it's going to take time and patience, but you can see how beautiful this area of the wall turned out to be in full sun. This is such a happy place. We have never visited the front of our yard as frequently as we do now. Something I wanted to stop and show you. We don't normally let milkweed grow. This is some native milkweed that we never planted. We don't know where it came from. It volunteered from someone else's yard. Well, we knew it was milkweed. It has a very deep taproot and it's very milky and irritating. But earlier this year, I saw a big old swallowtail caterpillar, or a monarch caterpillar out here, and we knew we had to leave it because it was eating the milkweed, and then it just went over. I don't know if the chrysalis is still here, but it managed to bring itself over here into the creeping iris, and it turns itself into a chrysalis, and then it hatched before our eyes. So I think its chrysalis finally fell down somewhere. We were just kind of leaving it there. And then I saw some more caterpillars out here last week, so I'm not sure really where they went off to. Anyway, the thing that I wanted to show you really was just how beautiful this wall looks with all of this growth here. Now, Farmer John is down there removing some more of the grass onto the property line so we can have keep our feet dry as we come around here on our tours. But I wanted to give you a closer look at everything that's growing in full sun versus part sun and how happy some of these plants are. So again, over here we have Emerald Falls Dichondra, and I'm going to wait till you see the silver bells. It's going to be beautiful. This is the same Violet Queen Salvia. We absolutely love this. Tiny Tim Sweet Alyssum has been magical. Again, a continuation of the Casino Gold. Junipers are in the middle, and they will be the bare bones in winter when everything dies back, and they will change color to gold at another point in the season when the sun changes. But next to the Sweet Alyssum, I went ahead and I direct sowed various varieties of nasturtium, which are very, very happy out here. So you'll be able to get a look at the jewel blend. This brilliant orange is, you can see it when you turn the corner. People are now coming by and they say, oh my God, I can see your landscaping when I turn the corner. I love it. What kind of bug do we have here? It's one of those nasty bugs. Hold on. Yeah, so the jewel blend is really, really happy. People can see this when they turn the corner, as well as some butterscotch. Butterscotch nasturtium actually pops up in different colors, and I don't know if you can see the beautiful stamen in here. The bees and the butterflies have been having a blast. Now, the thing that I love about the nasturtium is it's starting to creep down the wall. This is the Oriental Nights Sweet Alyssum. It has a very, very delicate fragrance. It's not overwhelming at all, but if you could just smell how wonderful this bed smells, it's absolutely incredible. So I will be adding more colors and varieties of Sweet Alyssum. This beautiful nasturtium here is Orchid Cream. Again, I direct sowed it. Absolutely beautiful. This is probably right now my favorite nasturtium that's growing. It's incredible. I've been waiting for this to rebloom so I could show you on a tour. This is just so worth growing. Butterflies love all of this. Again, the jewel blend is something that is growing. It's the easiest one to grow for me. So you'll notice that that is just mixed in all over here. And I think that this one is Peach Melba. Again, really, really beautiful stamen. Let's see if I can get, there you go. Oh my goodness, is that gorgeous or what? I just love looking close up into the throats and stamens of flowers like this. And then again, more Oriental Nights, Sweet Alyssum, and the jewel blend. So in front of this, I probably picked the worst time to do this when we're actually working out here and we have wheelbarrows in the front. So this is an area of the creeping Jenny that we plan on planting all in front of this wall so that it will creep down and blend in nicely with the blue rug juniper. And just look how gorgeous it is with the nasturtium starting to trail down the wall and flow over. Again, it's really, really beautiful. So I decided again to do this tour while we were in the middle of excavation, but I knew now was the moment because I wanted you to see that nasturtium. Again, this is the Violet Queen. Salvia, it really is growing more like a Russian sage. And here is an Alaska variegated nasturtium in there. You can see the beautiful colors of the leaves. I'm sorry, Farmer John, I totally got in your way. What Farmer John is doing here is he's removing the strip of grass that we had left behind. We're working very, very tight on the property line here if you plan on doing something like this, because we know our property line actually comes over halfway to the Xfinity box. So if they for some reason have to come in and lay line, we're going to allow ourselves at least 6 inches to a foot off of the property line for any lines that have to go in. So we're going to be working with access points at all time for these lines, but we've been very, very careful with making sure with this kind of projects that we know where our lines are and how far we can work in the easement. Now, this dichondra here is silver bells, and I just love the way it's trailing down over the wall. Really gorgeous. So we're allowing it to just flow down. The colors in the middle of the right light. This probably wasn't the right light for this tour. But we'll just be placing repurposed recycled pavers that we save from a dumpster over onto this area so we have a dry footpath around, but they're small enough that they're going to stay up against the wall. Again, our famous Tidy Cat and old preen containers. We don't use either of these products, but the buckets we repurpose for projects like this. The wall looks absolutely beautiful though. And I love the way the petunias are also trailing down over the wall. So we brought these petunias as volunteers from the back of the garden in the back that they've been growing for several years. These are the hardiest petunias that we have ever seen. We can't kill them. We actually tried to kill them when we realized how heavy they were taking over, but they trail and they're beautiful and there's all these mixed colors. Oh, they hit the light. It's just so beautiful early in the morning and at sunset. Here's some more nasturtium peeking through. This is a pollinator heaven. In the evening, I'll have Farmer John insert some footage of this magical striped sphinx moth that comes through, and he loves out here at sunset to drink the nectar from the petunias. So, and from this side you can see again the orchid cream and the peach melba nasturtiums popping through. So we love the way that this is coming out. It's still a work in progress, but I wanted to give you an update because it's about to go through so many more changes. Now, yes, the lawn is patchy, but this whole section of lawn is going to go away. We're going to be left with two very small sections of lawn. It's going to be so much easier to take care of. But look at this, how nice and straight this line is. So the wall here is 7 feet deep with all of these plants in it. So we eliminated 7 feet of this and then several feet in the front of lawn that was just never growing right. It always looked terrible. And the same thing up here. We just removed all of the grass. This is nowhere near done, you guys. So this walkway here is just a natural stepping stone path that's going to go back into a pollinator garden. We have to prune up all of our shrubs that were here when we moved in almost 11 years ago now. And we're making major changes to all of this landscape here. So I have some again, some lavender that didn't do really well out here, but the hyssop is doing really well. These zinnias were also volunteer transplants that I brought them out. I planted them. They totally died. They totally wilted and fell back. And then they came back. I mean, look, these zinnias are so hardy. And they'll be around until it freezes. Again, the birds, or the hummingbirds and the butterflies absolutely love zinnias. It's amazing to me how they can find space inside of these tiny little yellow flowers, and they just happily drink from them, and they let you get so close. The zinnias are so worth growing. So this wall area is actually not complete. We're going to be doing things like adding stone into all of what would be like equivalent to a grout line. So lots of fine tuning with all of this, but considering that we did this, ourselves, this has been a major effort to get it done. Now up here, we're going to be cutting out a pretty big section of this grass. Again, so it will meet up to the curve of that walk up there, and we will be repurposing the liriope to have a natural soft path here. Less grass, so that when the grass is cut, when it won't come over onto the walkway, so it'll be less blowing. And all of this is eventually going to be improved with a light pillar here. This will all be bed. All of this needy, it's not even grass anymore, it's just crabgrass. So we're allowing this because we know that we're in the process of removing it. So we couldn't be happier. It's going through changes. Like some of the petunias didn't want to live, but you can see that it's reseeded itself and it's coming back. In the springtime, all of these Canterbury bells and the columbine and the foxglove will all be in bloom. Our little Heuchera River up here is about to go into a full show for autumn. And again, this is not cleaned up, you guys. This is not final. It's just a peek at what we've been doing. Again, the projects, they just never end. We've been at this every single weekend for almost 11 years. And even now I'm in my lawn clothes. We just cut the grass that is remaining. We went from taking 3.5 hours to cut the grass and maintain the property down to less than a half an hour with the mower and the trimmers and everything. So I wanted to give you a quick peek at some of the things that we'll be planting in that other half of the lawn where we'll be eliminating the grass. So these are xeriscape plants. I'm going to do another video for you about xeriscaping and plants that you can select that will help you if you're trying to reduce maintenance, trying to reduce the need for water, fertilizer, chemicals, all of that. So let me show you some of these plants that we bought so you can look forward to checking in a future video and seeing what it is that we'll be planting in that area. Now here, waiting to get planted, we have Picea pungens, glauca, baby blue. Blue is cool. Blue spruce. She was $100. This is a dwarf species, considering that it's not going to get nearly as large. It grows 4 to 6 inches a year, and it can be 8 to 10 feet tall, which is perfect for the way we have this planned for the front. These guys are, again, foxglove that I planted from seed. It was a random pack of seeds. I think Ferry and Morse, they're not part of this project. They're just sitting here. But here are all of the junipers that we bought that will be going in to that area. Now, these are just more blue carpet junipers, which have gotten extraordinarily expensive, and we only have 7 of those that will get planted in. These are the Daub's frosted junipers that are on sale right now for $9.99 at Lowe's, and I absolutely love the texture and the color of this juniper, and I wish that I had more of it. I think I might go back and get it. Sorry, you can hear Aki screaming in the background. Over here is a Pacific Gold, what is it called actually? Golden Pacific juniper. So that's what that will look like. This will give you an idea on this rendering here, or a picture of how it grows. It's not very high. It's a dense ground cover, and it will give great coverage to the ground and still put on a show. And it needs very little water. It doesn't need any maintenance. We'll give it holly tone twice a year. But this combination of different greens with the blue juniper, or the blue spruce, and then the blue star juniper, which will be, this will reach its highest mounding, and then we'll plant all of these guys in front of it because that area is on a swale, and it will work as a ground cover and retention plants so that there's no runoff and we can retain all of the soil. And it will be just absolutely beautiful and not tempting to the deer or the rabbits, because this stuff is very prickly and it's just not really tempting to them. So no, again, it doesn't need water. It needs very little fertilizer. It really needs no maintenance, and it will adapt to almost any conditions. The only caveat being it likes full sun. Now the carpet juniper, we know for a fact will grow in shade. It just doesn't grow as quickly, which is this here. You can see blue rug. I keep saying carpet, but this is a very common plant. You can get this anywhere, and it really is just an easy plant to grow. So now I'm just bringing you around back to the front, and you'll be able to see almost where the natural line of the mower was cut in, back to where it's evening up with the new walkway. All of this here will get cut out, and this area right here is what's going to be the liriope. So it'll just be a natural footpath here with soft edges and lines everywhere. This is all going to get fine-tuned. We'll be doing areas of phlox in here, and lighting, and setting boulders to hold everything up, reducing our iris and getting those transplanted. So it'll all just be much more aesthetically pleasing. And then this whole entire area here is where the plants that I just showed you will be going. You have to be careful of the utility lines going into the house, because we know where the corner of the house is. We can see the boxes there. We know exactly where they're running. And most of these plants are going to be getting put in, not really into the ground. It's going to be more of a surface planting, because spruce trees don't like to go deep into the ground in this area in clay soil. So we're going to have to build it up. We're going to have some big boulders here that are going to hold in the added soil to keep the spruce tree in. And it will sort of wrap around here. So this whole entire patch will be the spruce tree sitting here, kind of lined up between our different dogwoods. So he'll have a spot right here, followed by a row of boulders, and then juniper everywhere in this area as ground cover, with a nice mulch line that will eventually be covered in some other type of a beautiful, colorful ground cover, again for no maintenance. So if you've considered reducing your lawn size or your backyard or wherever, like I said, we're going to talk about removing the grassy strip in another video. This really is something to consider about how you can reduce all of that needy fescue or bluegrass that you try to grow. And when you think about if you hire landscapers and the cost of the landscaping every week for however many months that goes on, the fertilizer programs, the water that it drinks is absolutely unbelievable. Around this area, the average household who is heavy into the maintenance, heavy into the crews, not having the weeds, all of the water, all of that, I hear people just paying between $500 and $800 a month just for the water. That doesn't include the sewage rate that you get charged to let it run down the drain when it comes off of the second meter, because they charge you for that too. The lawn cutting is anywhere from $75 to $100 a week around here. And then your fertilizer programs, your fall cleanup, your spring cleanup, getting mulch coming out, it all adds up. And then you take it across the months that you actually need to maintain, and you're looking at least $1,000 a month just to maintain a lawn. And I'm not doing that. I'd rather have flowers that I can grow from seed. Again, the highlights of this for me are the Violet Queen Salvia, botanical interests, really easy to grow. The Sweet Alyssum in the Tiny Tim and the Oriental Nights, super easy to grow. The Nasturtium, you nick them, soak them, and put them in the ground, and you see that, look at how it is trailing down over the wall over there. Creeping Jenny, you can spread once it gets established, and you just propagate it, spreading it around. It roots very, very easily. So many ways that you can improve your space and have a destination for a peaceful walk in the morning with a cup of coffee, or maybe in the evening with a cup of tea, which is now something that we're doing since sunrise is later and the mornings have been more chilly and damp. Now we're coming out at sunset with a cup of tea and a jacket, and we're walking around admiring all of the pollinators that are taking advantage of the last moments of light in a day to drink from these wonderful flowers. And often in the morning when we come out, there's bees and butterflies sleeping inside of the flowers. It really is magical, you guys. So stay tuned for the progress of how all of this is coming out. The lawn excavation is about to happen. We'll be planting soon, and we would really love it if you would stay with us so we can inspire you to maybe consider ways to be more friendly to the environment and your property, and the pollinators that really need all of this nourishment that comes from the nectars and the flowers. So thanks for taking this tour with me today on our new front lawn garden, you guys, and we sure hope to see you in the next video.